Now, this your man KG Salone representing Sierra Leone. You know how we do. Chilling out today, about to get this dope interview. All right.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys see me popping my collar in my Sierra Leone shirt. You see it all the time, and I want you to be able to relate. If you go do your AfricanAncestry.com, you can maybe get a citizenship in Salone and get connected and know about this next artist I'm going to talk about, KG Salone. Now,
Yes,
I saw the brother in something like it was a mink or some type of fur. And I said, I know he can't just be in Sierra Leone dressed like that. So I had to reach out to him. We got KG Salone. You guys make sure you share this game. KG, what's going on with you, my bro?
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for reaching out to me, first of all. And I'm just living life, just trying to get to the next day. So that's it.
Amen, amen. Well, tell the people, as far as the music, did you start in Salone? With Salone, for y'all that don't know, that's like Sierra Leone. So we might go back and forth in case you're like, I keep talking about Salone or Salone Ball. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
But give us the game on how you started and just, kind of that journey.
Yeah, well, like you said, Salone, KG Salone, KG is knowledge God. Salone, I added that on just to stand out and to represent, where I'm representing Sierra Leone. But yeah, where it all started, I was actually born in a village in Sierra Leone. The second biggest city is Bo. I was born in that city. Well, my family was my mom was from this small village called Jala Kamboya. I was born, my father had just took off and went to New York because he was already slated to go to college in New York. So when I was born, he left to go there. So I really had no knowledge of him that much. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know because I said I was a baby. I was given to my paternal grandmother because whatever situation was happening with my mother and the situation she was in. So anyway, about 9 years old, my father brought me to New York. So grew up here, just going through life, but I always had that connection to Sierra Leone because my father, of course, didn't hide that, and my family members and all of that. I lost the language because I was just really young, and my father, he had this thing. When I first got here, he was like, if you don't speak to me in English, don't speak to me.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, because he was just trying to get me to learn and incorporate myself into the American life. And it would have been hard if I was speaking the local language and, trying to have all those languages. And on top of that, at school, I was learning like Mandarin and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I really lost the local language, and I wish I held on to it. We talk about that often, but yeah. So
can we clarify real quick, because that's so Creole? You don't speak Creole?
No, I don't speak Creole. And then the other thing is my tribe is called the Mende tribe. It's like one of the prominent tribes in Sierra Leone. And I guess as a little boy, I probably spoke more Mende than I spoke Creole because I was in the Bo area, and then probably going to my mother to visit her in the village sometime, they spoke more Mende. Now in Sierra Leone, I think they speak more Creole all over Sierra Leone. Time has changed. But I think that's what it was, from what I can remember at 9 years old. But yeah.
I asked that because here you are born there, and with like a lot of new citizens, right? People always ask me, hey, Kellen, I went to Africa, I got my citizenship, but I still don't feel like they accepted me. I said, yo, you are a foreigner because you still don't even know how to eat with your hands properly, right? You don't know the difference, but you don't know how to get with this food. Yeah. And so just embrace the culture. Don't worry about that. But somebody who like you, who was born there, you were speaking Mende, when you go back, how are you treated? Because now you got the tats and everything. They know you from somewhere else.
Yeah, well, they treat me different because on top of that, I didn't know anyone. So me leaving as a pretty much a baby. When I come back, I don't know anyone is there. My mother, my biological mother, passed away before I was able to come back. But I knew I had two sisters. Let me take that back. I had two sisters. We had different fathers, so they were there, and I always I take care of them financially. So at least they were there. So they were introducing me to cousins and all of that. But as far as the entirety of the people accepting me, it took a. I mean, of course they gravitate towards you, right? Anyone that come in, you look different, you speak different. They're on you. That's one thing about Africa. They show you love right off the bat. They champion all the people that come to visit. But as far as like when I showed them that I'm an artist, they accept me, but at the same time, I do hear, a little chat in the background, like, he don't even speak Creole, he don't speak the language. Certain people they have problem with that, but overall, I think I'm getting a lot of love because on top of that, I work so hard at it and I push so much into it. I do a lot of stuff also for the country, like, as far as charity work and things like that. So the language thing is different.
I'm gonna stay here just for a second with the acceptance, because that must be difficult, because I'm seeing it difficult. I tell everybody, especially men, when they come to an African country, you might be a transaction. You getting all this love. It might be because you got them dollars and you're gonna drop them, and somebody, Sierra Leone, somebody wants you to drop dollars every day on your WhatsApp, right? It's my birthday. Hey, somebody died. Hey, somebody's born. Born. Somebody's always living, born, or dying. So, every day. So you ain't got enough money to give to everyone. So you have to learn how to say no and have to train people how to treat you. But when it comes to the music, a lot of people who come back, I know this is true to be from Cameroonians too. My wife is from Cameroon, and I know a lot of Cameroonian artists, when they come back, it's like, you're not making your videos in Cameroon. You're not a true Cameroonian artist. Do you know what this is? Like, you're Black. Do they know the abuse you got to deal with when you're in America? Even though you're in the beautiful city of Charlotte right now, it's a beautiful city, but you still got to deal with the white supremacy and all the craziness that happens. And then when you come back, you just want to be embraced. You don't want to hear, I'm not enough. Like, what does that mean, do you think? Are you supposed to never leave and fall bush?
No, I think it's both parties not understanding the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, their culture is different. They would never understand what we go through here unless they were living. And the other reason why I know this to be true is because I was in the military and I traveled to different places, and it was just like that. It's a disconnect in the culture. I actually had a podcast that I was doing that's called Bridging the Gap. If you look on KG Salone, Bridging the Gap on Spotify, any day you'll find it. So I was due to show it was concentrated on bringing Africans and Black Americans together, because there's a lot of lies told in between, and each party believes it, that this person, Africans don't like Black Americans because of so and so, and they're taught the same thing. So it's always this, this friction when we're all in the same place. And that's just like us learning Black history in America and the way they try to fool us with the stuff that we know, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are not knowledgeable on that. And then the other thing that I learned being in Africa was, over here, we have the opportunity to pick up books, look at research on, media and stuff like that. Half of them don't, 3/4 of them don't have that ability. They don't have access to books and, television research and, stuff of that nature that we have. So they don't, most of them don't know their history. Most of us here probably know their history better than they do. You know what I'm saying? Besides, the so-called griot that used to tell stories to the people, and they lost that art themselves, just like we lost it over here. So we have a lot of confusion on who we are as a people. And I think that's one thing. If we really understood who we are and bring that more togetherness, will be dangerous. And I don't think people really want to see that.
You dropped some knowledge about the history, because it's funny, you see YouTubers and I know Kenyans who will go to Tanzania and they'll know very little about Kenya, but to say like you're in Salone and people don't know the history, and even with like the war, like the country didn't start with war. And even the way that you talked about, the separation of from your parents and being with grandma, that's the same story that folks had here a lot of times, you know, and so we're connected, but it's just amazing. Like, hey, he's not really from. No, he's Salone as much as you. And this is what I always ask people when they say about the language. I say, because I hear you in Pidgin. I may not respond to you, but I hear you in Pidgin, you know, and Creole, it has its own variety. You know, there's different Creoles everywhere. But you tell me the last, you know, $1 million deal that I got done in Sierra Leone Creole. Because I done sat with some folks in mining and they were speaking a whole nother language. They weren't doing Creole. So Creole's not the end all be all. I don't mean to offend anybody, but Creole, if you ain't doing big business in a language, you switch over to Spanish, or you said Mandarin earlier, switch over to that. We'll show you some deals getting done. So I just want to throw that out there, because I get, you know, in my feelings about that, because who are you to say somebody's not enough? And then you're going to be asking money from them. Like, stop it.
It's just, I think it's their way of, they don't have any other arsenal to use against, you know what I'm saying? Like, most of the people are coming in, they call them JC, like just come, you know? So when you touch down, you already have this aura about you. You already have this stature because you come with more money. So what is their arsenal to fight with? You know, you get what I'm saying?
I know, I feel what you're saying, but we ain't in a fight. I'm just here trying to enjoy, and I come in with my Leones, the dirty ones too, the old ones. Like I got no, you know, I ain't got no money. I got Leones, you know. So if you think,
and actually those type of words that, you know, like you're not blase blah, it comes out of jealousy, I believe. You know what I'm saying? It's just like here, if you go to the hood and, you know, you show up fresh. People say stuff out of hatred, or out of jealousy, rather, not hatred, but out of jealousy and ignorance. That's, you know, that's where that comes from. So they don't understand we all fighting the same struggles, we all going through the same things and all that. But that's the jealousy that's talking when they do that. And then once you show them who you are, really, you know, and one good thing about people in Africa, once you show them an act of kindness, and just show them more of who you are, they gravitate to you. You know, it's like they forgive easily. They there with you. So
yeah, I agree with you. I've not had a bad situation when traveling, and I've been to over 22 countries, but the African countries is something special. It's all love, but I also have been told I look real local with a $2 jersey on and some flip-flops and some sandals. So, you know, eating soya right off the street when it's available. So
that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Yeah. It's good to be able to fit in and, you know, make things like that happen, man. That's good. You don't want to stand out anywhere you go, you know. So
and that, again, I go back to that fly jacket you had on. I said, I know he ain't in Sierra Leone with that jacket as hot as he'd be. But let's talk about, you know, a lot of. For 20 plus years, I've done music in some form or fashion behind the scenes. And I've always told artists, yo, Africa, and trying to push artists. And, you know, everybody would go to Europe. Everybody would go to South America back in the day, especially after, you know, they lost that initial buzz. But people now think, well, Kellen, tell me about Africa again, because I haven't been hot in a minute. Can I just buy my way onto the scene? And how much do I need? Can you talk about that reality?
Oh man, you know what is, people think it's easier to really pop from that side, and now that Afrobeats is so popular, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, oh, excuse me, huh? You need what? Yeah. Sorry about that. That's my way.
You gotta answer that. Shoot.
Right. But yeah, now that Afrobeats is popular, you know, a lot of people want to be part of the movement, but it's really not as easy. Yeah, you may get a lot of fanfare, you know, when you get there and so forth. But you also got to keep in mind, even though you can make a lot of money touring eventually, but keep in mind that these people, most of them don't have money, you know, so you're going to have to spend a lot of money or a lot of time on the ground trying to build up your fan base and so forth. And that's going to take money, because no one's going to do something for free. You know, so I think the same grind, the same hustle we use over here, it might just be a little cheaper over there. So you can buy your way into a lot of more than you can here. You know, you can shoot your videos a lot cheaper. I think most of all my videos are shot over there. So when I get there, you know, I'm on the ground running and we just moving and moving, trying to get stuff done. So I might shoot like 3 or 4 videos while I'm there. But definitely you gotta put in some money to really pop over there. And you gotta, just like here, you gotta have some connections. You gotta be around the right people to get, you know, the eyes on you. So, because it's just like here, it's a million artists over there trying to get on too. So
For real, and they're all at ATV waiting, you know, to be put on. Shout out to ATV. But can you tell, like, for that 14 or the 15-year-old, I'm thinking, you know, who says that was their plan, what's that range? Because one thing I don't like is when people come to an African country and they think, oh, I got $500, I'm about to be the man. Or they could have 10,000 or 20, whatever you have. I've seen people blow full bags that you would not imagine, and you don't know who they are because they didn't do it with strategy. So if you do this and you're listening, why not holler at KG and say, KG, I'm trying to do this, and then he can consult. Maybe he'll jump on a track. That's gonna be a fee too. But
all of those things, man. But nah, I think when you come, your first trip should be like, let me observe. You know what I'm saying? Link up, go to some shows, see how things work. And if you're not familiar with the places, it's not wrong to get a travel guide. Because just like any other place you can get guide, I'm from Brooklyn, New Jersey. You just don't come in the hood by yourself without representation or something, you know, somebody with you. So take that same thing and, you know, think about it the same.
KG, they gonna come like the Lebanese with the money like this in the video on the street, just thinking it's sweet. No, you might, not that anybody is gonna get you guys. I'm not even gonna put Salone on like that, because I think it's one of the safest places, especially in West Africa. You know, I've been to about 4 or 5 different, maybe 6 different African countries. I stopped counting, but you guys reach out. But for that 14-year-old who's setting goals, would 10,000 or 5,000 make a dent on what they need? Because, you know, somebody will work at McDonald's just to be like, let me make this happen, because it can't happen for 5 or 10 on this side. 5 or 10 in America ain't gonna get you nowhere.
Right. But I mean, over there though, you with 10 G's, you can do some damage. I will say that you could do some damage with 10 G's and you got some really good music, because you can't just, trash not gonna fly through, okay? There's a lot of great artists these days. So with some real good music, get it certified, all of that done correctly, go over there, try to build a relationship first with somebody online that's really, you know, substantial, not, because it's a lot of scammers also. So somebody that really, you know, got some credentials. And when you get there, y'all hit the ground running, stay there maybe 3 or 4 months, you know, just so you can get everything running the way you want to. And the two countries right now that's running the game in Africa is pretty much, you could say, Nigeria, Ghana. I put South Africa on there also. They really, you know, they running the ball right now.
But South Africa is not Afro beats. I just want to let people know, like, everything you hear from Africa, and I love I'm a piano, but just know that just because you hear something and you hear some drums and somebody say something, you know, and they talk about they King or whatever, it's not everything is just Afro beats. So learn even the difference of that. With, you know, the music in Salone, and what would you say is the big money maker? Because it's right now, nobody's really making music. Nobody's going to get CDs. I'm old school, so no one's going to get CDs. So is it the shows? Is it the collaborations? Where can that 14-year-old inspire to, when they connect with you? Am I, like, how many tours am I going to have to do? Is that where all the money is? Is it merch? Give us the game.
I think when you on the ground, the money is in the tours. You know what I'm saying? And getting the right eyes on you so you can get sponsorship. So they have the telephone companies, they have, you know, the television stations, and you can get sponsorship through them. And then that can get you some contracts, just like here, you know. But getting on the ground and people learning who you are, then they'll come and see you in concerts, because they have lots of concerts all through the country. At least I speak for Sierra Leone. I see it all the time. You know, when I got there, my first time as an artist going back over there, I was doing shows all over the place. Just, I didn't make it to all the provinces, but I made it through Freetown, a lot of Freetown, and nobody really knew me at that moment. So, so when I go back, hopefully I'll be there this December. I'm hoping to make it there. I know it'll be more venues for me to perform in, and I'll try to hit the outskirts and all of that. But
And
yeah,
I want to put something like and make it clear because I don't want somebody to see you in Charlotte saying, "Oh, he got that whole bag from Dangote," or he got that bag, from ATV with the diamonds mixed in it. Like, do you think it's reasonable for an artist here to say, you know what, I'll make all my money over here, come back to the States, and I'll be able to chill? Is it enough money to be able to like be comfortable in America where every day we're on a rat race trying to make another penny?
there's a few artists that's they go back and forth. I know a few artists that been doing it longer than me, and I think they go back like December time frame because that's when all the people are traveling over there. Yeah, and basically, they make their money and they come back and they'll go back a couple of months. They do this often. I haven't gotten into the cycle yet, but they go back and forth, and that they make a living that way. One of the biggest artists right now, Drizzly in Sierra Leone, he's in London. He was just in New York. He even went to the BET Awards. So they moving around, and this is a person that's homegrown from Sierra Leone. I have a song with him, but so it's not impossible. But they're moving around. They're moving around on music money.
Shout out to Drizz's label. I'm not gonna say your name, but you're the young Barack Obama out there, and your wife, whatnot. Lovely people, whatnot. Yeah. I'm not gonna say his name because he wouldn't want me to say his name, y'all. Okay. He's a very humble figure, like Al Heyman. But it's a beautiful thing. Now, how do you think on the map when you look at the market, Sierra Leone, and a lot of folks are trying to go to Nigeria. Is the Cameroons, are they open to the Sierra Leone artists, or is it still a fight to try to get on those tours and in those markets?
I did a song with a Cameroonian artist. Nigeria, sometimes it's hard to get to most of the artists. Like, if honestly, in this game, if you got money, like real money, I think you could have access to the collabos, the traveling and all of that. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money because if you really want to be visible, you got to be on the ground over there. You got to be going to a lot of the venues and meet different artists so you can chop it up with them. You know what I'm saying? Get in the studio with them and all that. So if you really don't have that type of money and the patience, you might not. I don't say don't try it. I always say do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying it makes it a little harder when you don't have those, those components. So, and I don't have those components yet, so it's taking me a little longer myself. So when I'm speaking of myself. So.
Well, yeah. and that's the beautiful thing about the journey, because people, they talk about the, DeVito or Davido, whichever one you guys want to call him. And a lot of people, even with him, try to take away from his talent because of who his father is, not understanding as an African going against what your parents say do, is almost suicide. But the man is talented. So somebody like him, wherever he was probably at, somebody was going to find it. Now, if he had 100,000 or 100 million to put behind him, of course. But we also have to talk about the predators in this industry. And that's why I'm talking about these ranges, because you have labels, you and I know what this game on this side is built on. They've been doing it before you and I were born. Ask the mob, They've been putting money behind different things the same way they've been putting money on car races and horses. It's all the same money cleaned up. Somebody will say, well, let me take my 100 stacks over to an African country and just buy my way in. And sure, you may be able to do that. But like you said, if the music isn't quality, but if someone did, let's say, have 100 stacks to put behind you, is that even an investment you would take at this moment?
Lately, I've been getting some offers. I think Nah, because I'm really gonna drive this bus. I'm gonna drive this bus, and if someone's there to help me, because it really, it don't hurt if you got a team. It's harder when you're doing it by yourself, which I'm doing by myself right now. But I brought it this far by myself, and I just want to get, and I know God driving the bus for me, so I know I'm gonna get to my destination. You feel me? But someone putting 100,000 behind me right now, and it's really legitimate. I probably could use that. It's just the people that's been coming at me, I don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the
Mm-hmm.
trust part is the hardest thing in the music business, because somebody might just be doing it to take the publishing or take something from you instead of really trying to embrace you to help you. So
Ain't nobody in this music business trying to help anybody. There's a bunch of wolves and vultures picking at the thing. There is no help. No genuine, I say, help, which I tell my clients, I say, it's different. This is a teaching family atmosphere. We want to make sure you don't go broke.
Yeah.
But people, they want the publishing, they want the soul more than they want that. They want your soul. And on the other side, what the labels will say is, look, I'm taking a bet. I have to hedge my bet. So in case you go funny on me, like every artist is going to go a little crazy. Once you get that plaque, I don't care what color it is, you're going to go and start talking crazy. And I did it. That's part of it. So they kind of hold that and whatever else they can get out of you. But, I just was wondering, because there are a group of, again, new Sierra Leoneans. And at this point, I'm in the group and I see everybody wants to invest. The country has asked, hey, do you guys want to invest? Everyone's filled out, but the system isn't there where they can put their investment in something that maybe in the next 5 years, it can blossom. And that's the frustration. So you even have people who parents are from Sierra Leone, are whatever, how their DNA matches up, and they start saying, oh, my country. I'm hearing them in France. Oh, my country isn't. And it's like, no, it's not your country, but we have to find a system that works for the masses. So that's why I asked, because 10 people give you $10,000, there it goes. Or we could break it even more down. So I'm just throwing that out there, you guys.
That's crazy though, because me as an artist and knowing other artists, like we don't hear about that. We don't hear about people really trying to invest in us. We feel like, just like I said, we feel like we got to drive the bus all the way. We haven't, beside the couple of labels, like what was KM, I can't think of their name right now. But besides that label that I've seen them being active in Sierra Leone, I haven't really seen too many labels being active. Even myself, I have an artist, Lord Winner. And even though I haven't made it yet the way I want to, I put him on and I take care of all his business. You see? And my label is Diamond Kingdom Entertainment. Then that's why I haven't really signed other people, because it's a lot of responsibility. Just, what I'm saying, trying to be responsible for me and another artist. So, but yeah, we haven't seen investors, come to our aid and like, I would like to invest in you. Or I believe in your craft or what you're doing. We get interviews from people, but we haven't seen that yet. I think once we get investors, I think it could change the destination for Sierra Leone artists, because we have some great artists. We do. It's just we don't have the resources to push it. I don't even know, like, the streams in Sierra Leone, if they're even counted. My music plays a lot, but I don't think any of those things exist as far as radio play and monetizing off of those type of things. I don't think it's there.
It's very unfortunate, and I tell not just YouTube but these other media platforms how biased, race, whatever you want to say, it is that somebody can, whole people in a country can contribute to your platform, and you haven't found a way to pay them. And I can say that because you guys can go look in the playlist and see everybody from Sierra Leone I've interviewed, whether they're musicians, talent, or behind the scene, and a YouTube check they still can't get unless they lie and say they live in the West or live in an African country that does allow you to monetize. And even though we are on these platforms, and I mean them to all of you, so even iTunes, which really, like, that's our most listened to and watched audience, I'm even even, talking to you to find a way to allow people, because then when you do get monetized, especially in African countries, on 1 million views, they give you this small little check, compared to if you're in the West, they give you a big check. And they say it's because of the advertising, which is not true. And I have enough clients to be able to prove it, because audiences cross over. So I just throw that out there. But yeah, there are a whole list. You've probably heard of, people like myself who do our DNA through African ancestry. We go through the process, get our citizenship, and the government asks you, do you want to invest? And not one person that I've talked to has been called back to say, hey, so let's talk about this. We're talking about doctors, lawyers, people who run airlines and the whole FAA thing in the Middle East. These are the type of people that are coming, and they're like, they have a whole plan on how to create a Sierra Leone in an airline or with the port, but you got to call these people back. What good is it to give them the paper and they can't invest in the people? And everyone I talked to, that's what they wanted to do. And they call me because I'm a consultant, and we opened our Sierra Leone company for consulting in Sierra Leone, so we can take Leones as well real easy. But I just throw that out there because it's people like you who we need to know. I'm not necessarily a music investor, just because music is hard. And it's a goon business. But that doesn't mean that as a consultant, I don't go find investors and say, hey, you want to do this, you want to do that. And I am the shark you're talking about when it comes to music, because I know the artists that I have sponsored and put together. We have to have the publishing until we get our money back. That's the one thing. Once we get our money back, you can have publishing, portions of it. The majority of it, we want our small piece. We didn't get in this for charity. It's a business, but we're not sharks where you got to buy us back at 10x or 2x or whatever Puffy and the others will. Puffy, well, hey, thanks for showing us the game so we could remix it the way we want to put it.
So I definitely understand what you're saying. And like I said, honestly, I got this female artist, Mimish B. Dope. If she just had an opportunity, just like all of us, she'll be out of here. Like, she's that dope. The image, the voice, everything, right? But we have no investors. So I'm pleading with you right now as we are on here. If you have some investors for us, please let us know.
You said her name is MS Breed?
No, Mimish B. She's on a few of my songs.
Okay. You gonna send me a link so I can see it, and I can definitely, with investors, it's all about relationships more than anything, and we have to show them. And this is the hard part with music in Sierra Leone. When you ask someone, because I have friends who do music in Salone, they show me their house. You get to sit and talk with the family, right?
Yeah.
But when you ask them, well, what does it take to break a song here? Nobody. And again, we just talked about, Driz and his label. Nobody can tell you, whether they don't know or they're not sure or they're too shy. I almost said his name, but I'm not. They're too shy to tell you what it costs. And so holding that information, investors are like, I need to know. Do I need to put 5, 10, or what is it?
No, I think that's the biggest problem there is breaking the artist. There is no money level, because everywhere you go, someone has a different budget. You get me? So I don't even know. I don't even quite know the gatekeepers. But even the big artists over there are waiting for another African country to accept them. That's what I'm saying. There are no steps like, who do you go to next? Over here you might want to get down with Cash Money, with Bad Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are the gatekeepers who like take you to that next level? We don't. I haven't seen that. Like, of course, I'm new into that industry. I'm new to the industry, but I've been doing it for the last 3 years or so. And as far as I know, I'm one of the names that get mentioned as far as the music also over there, right? But as far as the hierarchy of how you move up the line, I don't think it exists. They haven't really had an artist that, besides them being big in Sierra Leone, has moved up up so far. You know, there's a song called Knack right now by Jacob the Therapist, which is, you know, millions of streams. I heard it in the clubs here. For Drizzlick making noise. But besides that, we haven't had anyone that's really like catapult to, you know, big levels like you said, a Davido or Burna Boy or something. You know, Caldenera is like the biggest artist, I believe, that in the country. But you know, also LAJ, you know, peace to him, you know, doing his thing right now. But he's a big name there as well. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the movement to where does it go next for us to really explode into the world, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, well, for all the artists, for all the creatives, the money that you put in, even in politics, you know, it's you want to know how much could it cost in countries like Kenya when we do business there and people are asking for investment, they can tell you, oh, for this election, it's going to be $250,000 US, you know, X amount of shillings. And you need that. If not, as an investor, you're like, well, I can't just throw it in the dark. I don't know what's going to happen. And this is the one thing that no African ever wants to do. Investor come and say, well, you say you got some land that your father left you. No African wants to give up their land, right? That's an abomination. But you have to know your numbers. Just like when we watch the Shark Tank on this side, our Lions Den, for the one in Kenya I watch when it was on, you know, we have to know our numbers so we know we're not just throwing money here, there. So that's the first step. Because if you can show like, oh, I can make, you know, 20 stacks after this tour, but I might need 5. So I have something to give you after, but it just has to make sense. And that's the difficult part for the investors in anything, no matter where you're at. And it is so much talent. I just sometimes think, and tell me what you think about this. Sometimes I'm listening to music and I've had like Proxy Assassin on the show before, and he lives in Italy. And it's like, are we making music for Salone? Are we making music for the world? Who are you making music for?
When I first started, because me getting into the music was, I won't say it by accident, because I went to when I got out the Army, I went to college, back to college for acting, theater. So I have an acting degree, theater degree. And I was concentrating on that a lot more, you know, going all the auditions. I got a couple of movies that's on Amazon and stuff like that. And when my mom passed away, I was trying to find a way to celebrate her. So I was making music, but it wasn't like to put out to people. You know what I'm saying? It was just for me. And when I made the song for her, and that was like my first time really going back to Sierra Leone, and I took the song with me. And like I said, you know, I didn't know people really, but when I started meeting my family members and I would play the song for them, ended up at the radio station. That's how I really got into the music in Sierra Leone, into the music business there. My thinking is different. Of course, I grew up in a different culture than them, so my music stood out from everybody else. You get what I'm saying? But I think when I was starting to make the music, I was making it for them, you know, because when I asked God, honestly, this is how the conversation went when I was there. I was asking God, like, how can I help my people even more than what I've been doing? Like I said, I have my charity, you know, we bring clothes, we bring food to different villages and all of that. But how else can I help them, really help them? And I heard God say, like, use your voice. So I was like, use my voice? What do you mean? You know, I'm saying this in my head. And then I realized, like, oh, the music. I said, okay. So that's how the music came about. So everything I was writing about and still do, is dedicated to Sierra Leone. My music, most of the titles in there is Sierra Leone. You know, it's always going to be a line in there. Even my intro, you know, KG Salone, Sierra Leone, we in here. Because that's the big up Sierra Leone, to put them on another level, to take them to world level. Because I want them to shine. I want them to have that attention also, because the attention can bring some tourism, can bring, you know, economy to them, so they can change their life. Because that's my whole thing. I just want to change life for them, make life better for them. Because I know even as a kid how hard it was. I know how hard it is to go a few days without food or, wearing the same clothes every day, just pure poverty. So I just want to change that for them. So my music was and still is dedicated to them. But my thing is I have a different aura because I have, an outside influence. So I'm more acceptable in different circles. My music's more accepted in different circles than maybe the local artists because that's all they know is, that little niche and, what I'm saying, letting their friends hear what they got. So now that they've been exposed to more, I have like these contests where I'm like remix my song or I'm gonna do this verse and somebody add a verse. So now they're starting to see different things because other people are doing it also. You know what I'm saying? So the music, the sound is changing. You may not get a traditional artist like a Drizzlick on some songs or Fantasy Wiz, traditional music like that. But you have a lot of influences now, American influences, English influence, because a lot of, Sierra Leone is pretty much England. You know what I'm saying? They have more English tradition than the English do. So
yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that folks, there's a whole song and courses in when outsiders come to a country like Sierra Leone, how to be, but also folks, how to treat, I think, outsiders. Like there's always work to be done because, people are like, man, from the airport, when you get there to when you leave, somebody's asking you for some money. And I say that is true. And I've never seen a more begging place. But I say, but you also have to ask, what is money? Because it's not like they're asking you for $20 every chance you get. When we are here in America, every time you pass a toll, it seems like, it starts now, I think, at 10. I just came from Cali, where I'm from.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm glad I got the pass. Like, so they're asking you for equivalent of what? Money that you're going to keep some money in stacks in your closet just because you can't get rid of it all before you go. So always change your mind and have Leones, but don't down the country because, you are a transaction the same way you're looking for an opportunity. They're an opportunity. And with that, we could all work together real nice. And we could have some folks who are single find some real wives. I will hook y'all up. Just let me know. But you got to have something going on. Don't come over to Salone broke and busted. Tell the people, because you get good traffic on your videos. Like, you got 600,000, views, not on just a few videos. I can't count how many. What do you think has, what is that? Is that just that you're the master marketer? Did you connect with somebody in Salone where you say, I did that tour, and if you go on this tour, artist, you are going to get heard from all over the world? Like, what do you accredit that to besides God himself?
Besides God, it's my hustle. Like I'm always working. That's probably why we kept on, bumping and not catching each other. But I'm always working. I'm always into something. I'm hustling. I'm trying to go perform here, perform there. So what actually took place, I met a guy in Ghana named Lyrical Joe. Like, met him online, talked to him, chopped it up for a bit. And I told my wife, like, we're going to Ghana. She's like, you don't know nobody in Ghana. I said, I didn't know nobody really in Sierra Leone, but we went there. So we got on the plane, went to Ghana. I met Lyrical Joe, picked me up from the airport, everything. We made music. We had made the song really before I got there because we put it all together before I got there. The song that, the biggest song that I have. Got there, shot videos. He introduced me to videographer, all of that. We all over the country, just learning the country, getting to know more people, trying to get more fans. That's pretty much how that came about. And Lyrical Joe, bigger artist than I am because he's been doing it longer than me as well. And in Ghana, he's he's one of the top artists in Ghana. So that's what that one came from. And just me, the marketing, and me just hustling and just, moving around, getting people to know me. And I was taking the song to a lot of places, radio shows. And when the song dropped, it was some of the people's favorite. Like, I don't have the right money to really market it because I think the song could be lot bigger. A lot of people, did reactions on it when it came out. Even when I go places, people are still asking me like, "Hey, can you perform that song?" So it just not having the right amount of money, or knowing the right context to really get the song up where it should be. But that's how that song came about. So it's just politicking and chopping it up with different people, and if they like your vibe, and you got to be adventurous. You got to be able to go out there. I went to Canada, same thing. Just flew out there and just hustle. So
Hustle, you exploring. If you can come from Sierra Leone to America and then join the army,
right.
and we know they had a foot in your ass for real. With for people who are, I just had one of the best stories, but it was one of the most heart-wrenching. Haven't done the interview yet because of some docky issues, but I'm thinking. But she told me how she went from Asia
Yeah.
all the way to Costa Rica, trekked up to, from Panama and Mexico and all that. If somebody does make it to America, no matter how they get here, the hard way or, the easier way,
Yeah.
what would you tell them? Would you tell them join the military, and the military taught you enough skills and got you right, they gave you a foundation? What's your take on it?
I tell younger generation Americans this also. So I think if you get here and you really didn't, because most people get here and they only have a high school education. You know what I'm saying? And then the high school education is not has equivalent to the American education, the way they look at it. So if you find yourself in that situation, I think your best bet is to go to the military, because that way you can advance a lot faster. You can get your citizenship a lot faster. You can build a network, you know what I'm saying? Because having a network, like we can see right now, that open a lot more doors for you. And then you can start, you get benefits. You got college benefits. Like I was able to go to college and, have them pay for my college. So all of those things, I tell all the youngest generation that as well. Even sometimes I go to the schools to talk to the kids and all of that. And I tell them the same thing. If you come out of high school, because most of us, we don't know what we're going to do when we get out of high school. We're nervous, because myself, nervous, like, what am I going to do? I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to fall victim to the streets, because it's a lot that we had around us. Where I come from, like a lot of places. So that when you make that choice, at least it opened doors for you. Help you achieve a lot faster. At least that's what I've noticed, and that's what I've done. I even put my sister and all of them to convince them to go in, and life is a lot better when they did that.
All right, so you guys got the game from somebody who's done it, because your recruiter's gonna lie to you, and so KG ain't got no reason to lie to you, but to give you the game, and
Well,
plus, the fact that you got the music, the acting. Tell them where they can find all the films, that you were talking about Amazon, but even maybe some that might be off Amazon. Maybe some have made it to Tubi and different places as well.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, we got I got right now it's a series called Sweet Mahogany. So Sweet Mahogany 1, 2. We just finished filming 3. They should be putting that out very soon through Maverick Entertainment. And shout out to Carson Clay. He's the writer, producer, everything. So that's his package. But I'm one of the actors on that series. So check it out on Tubi, Amazon. There's a couple more other movies that I have on there. Once you put my name in there, once you see my name, Kenny Gouger, you put it into Google, it'll come up with a whole bunch of stuff. And as far as the music, you can look KG Salone, KG Salone, on anything, on Instagram, all the way down to Spotify, iTunes. I should pop up.
Okay, and that's mahogany smelled the right way, on some Billy D. Williams type. Okay, I just want them to see, because they'll be like, hold on, spelling it every which way nowadays.
Yeah, Sweet Mahogany, and it's a lot more other, like I said, other movies that I have on there. But I know that's like one of the hot series. Like people, like once they watch it, they waiting to see 3 and all and so forth. I get a lot of calls about that.
Now you mentioned it, about what your give back, but I gotta ask in my traditional way that you're moving and you might not be where you want to be, but we're gonna speak things that aren't as if they are, and say you're gonna get to your past even your goals, right? But what is a community give back maybe that you haven't mentioned, or one that you would like to do, whether it's here or in Salone?
Mm, I think a community give back during the pandemic, because I knew it was going to be hard, especially for them, because they have to be outside in order for them to eat. So I purchased bags of rice, and I had even my artists and different family members drop them off in different villages and all that. So I would like to continue that type of stuff. My father, he retired a couple of years back, and since my mom passed and all that, he moved back to Sierra Leone as well. So he's been helping load up the truck when I send money or all the stuff that I have, and he'll have them drop it off in the different villages as well. So I would just like to continue that, just giving back as far as the food, food, clothing, and eventually get to the shelter part. Because my thing is, I would love for those villages to have cement floors, to have running water, toilets inside there, instead of just the mud huts and all that. They're falling apart, and they go through the rainy season, people don't have anything. So like I said, my reason for doing the music, all in all, is to help Sierra Leone and help other African countries eventually. But my concentration first is Sierra Leone, and that's what I've been doing. Even with the concerts that I do, when I make money off of them, that's where I send it to, back to Sierra Leone. So it was never for my own gratification. It was to help them. But of course, I'm using it as a vehicle as well to bring some financial wealth to my family as well. So, but
Of
yeah,
course.
I would like to keep elaborating on those type of things, just giving. And I also service a couple of orphanages in Sierra Leone and in Uganda. So I do that as well. So I would just like to continue doing it, just giving the younger generation hope. Because when I was there, I didn't have the hope. Like I said, I didn't even know my father was in America. And I could remember even at that young age, just hoping every day or wishing every day that something can happen and change my life, to change, what I was in, just not having anything. I didn't know, who would have ever thought I'd be sitting here talking to you right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, just being in that desperate situation, you don't know what, you don't know if you can make it to tomorrow. Because, just like here, we're all facing different adversities. That's all.
Yeah. And is your wife too? Is she from Sierra Leone?
And now they think she is, though. When we get to Sierra Leone, they think she's from Sierra Leone and I'm not. But she's from Charlotte. One of the reasons I'm in Charlotte. But she embraces so well, and they love her over there. When they call here, they don't even want to talk to me. They want to talk to her. So she loved it, and she told me herself, like, it really enlightened her about herself. Learning about just her being a Black American and so forth. And I'm one of the people, I like to study stuff anyway. I even did the ancestry too. And
Okay.
yeah, and they said we came from Mali, which makes sense, because we did all come from Mali into the different countries. And Sierra Leone is one of them countries, as you know, the history. A lot of people, Nova Scotia, America, Jamaica, they all came back to settle there after, the Black Star movement and so forth.
Yeah, yeah, and I just asked that because with the movies and there's so much going on. I know Phoebe's out there has a new movie coming out, Phoebe, and it's like always something is popping. But the number one thing why people like myself, I'm stuck here. My wife being from Cameroon, there's a job that she does that legally she can do from home, but she has to be in the circle of America or its bubble, right? So it's like, it's great for money, but the goal is to be able to have RP King be able to enjoy at least a year or two, run around where I ain't got to think about you. And it's very rare to find that in America, where you don't have to worry about, okay, they know jujitsu, so they'll be all right. And there in Africa, you can just be free to do what you do. So that's what I was asking, because it's like Sierra Leone needs the talent. They need the inspiration, the exposure that you've had, and you got something on Amazon. I have the only movie on Cameroon on Amazon myself. It's the worst shot movie, maybe on Amazon too, but it's the only one focused on Cameroon where with my phone and my basic equipment, I'm just showing you, the ins and outs. So it's like you want to do more and more, but we need partners. So you guys, if you're listening, whether you're in Sierra Leone, partner with folks, ask what you can do, how it can make sense, because sometimes you got to you got to figure out the money for everybody to eat. But I think it's doable. We have enough brain power and AI now. There's nothing we can't do if we put our mind to.
And that's what I tell people. Even when I was in the Army, I used to reach out to people from different African countries. I always told them, I said, you know what? There's so many of us outside of our country. If we put our minds together and our finances together, even if it's just, I used to always tell them, if we can collect $1 or $5 a month, we make a bank account where, we have access to it. At the end of each year, you take out that money, whether we decide to do something in Kenya for that year. You know what I'm saying? We go build a hospital, a school, a road or something, you know what I'm saying? But we give them back. It's so many outside of the continent that we can make a difference in the continent without other foreign involvement. And that's how I always believe. And that's the same thing right now. Because even in the ground in Sierra Leone, like my grandfather he was a chief. So he had a whole lot of land. It's filled with coffee, bamboo, all type of, root tile, all type of things that can make money. But again, investors, so cultivate the land. And those are the things I'm working on. Like I really want to, because that will help that region. That will help the family. That will help just the villages around there. But it's a lot of land.
Yeah. And I'll tell you off air something about about how I've just thought about doing land. I don't want to waste the time in the audience. They're like, I ain't trying to hear all about that. But, I'll tell you about it and how I think influencers could help it in their audiences where everybody can get like a piece. But I want to really hone in and you let people know again where they can find you. I don't want to give them too much game because I want them to go to your pages, to everything you got going on and really tap in a genuine way. So give them that, where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, KG Salone official. That's on Instagram, but KG Salone, if you look me up, you'll find me everywhere. I'm on Twitter, I'm on everything. That's KG Salone. Again, Salone is Salone KG. So just hit me up and I respond back. I make time, to make time.
You guys got that in. You heard that he has a wife and he said he's happy. And he didn't say he was looking for a second. So just, because I'm hearing even you ladies sometimes are getting in the DMs of the guests and it's like, man, if they single, just holler at me. I'll hook you up. I am the date doctor. But, I know an African man can have as much as he can afford, but he also might want some peace too. And a lot of y'all in them DMs, y'all ain't peaceful. That's why you're single, but that's a whole nother thing. You guys have gotten the game. Make sure you share this game with somebody. It will change their life. Be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand or 10,000 Kenyan shillings or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.